Ever wonder how you can grow fresh, gourmet mushrooms right in your own kitchen? Today I'm going to show you just how simple it is with an oyster mushroom kit. In this video, I'll be reviewing this oyster mushroom kit and walking you through every step of the growing process. We'll unbox the kit, set it up, and go over daily care, troubleshoot common issues, and finally harvest mushrooms together. Okay, let's get started. We're going to fill a container with filtered water. We're going to cut an X into the plastic package and mushroom blocks, then let it soak overnight. We'll put the block back into the box and let it rest on a plate. 5 days later, wow, this is so much easier than my previous mushroom kits. When we lived in the Pacific Northwest, I couldn't help but take advantage of the dark, moist climate there. Mark and I were setting up mushroom log grow kits of shiitake, oyster, and turkey tail mushrooms. We built a hoop house and added mushroom pot cultures made with sterile straw and added big blocks of mushroom kits to our collection to grow king, turkey tail, and gnocchi and blue oyster mushrooms. We also had fun with the in-ground garden mushroom kits like wine caps and morels. Our bees really seem to appreciate the outdoor mushroom patches. The bees would feed on the mushroom exudate, which also helps their immune system. This book, Growing Gourmet and Medicinal Mushrooms, has all the information you need to get started with growing the more complex mushroom kits if you have the time and space. These are super fun projects, and I'll share all of our supplies in the description. So let's get back to our tabletop mushroom kit. All right, it's been a couple of days and things suddenly escalated. I was adding my couple teaspoons of water and then came back this afternoon and these little guys are popping out. That's cool, but I think we need to give them more space. Cool. This part feels a little dry. Well, I think this is what they're talking about pinning down here. Or this was just happening behind the scenes. Huh. You know, I don't want too much water. Okay, to keep with our theme of succession planting, let's do it with our mushrooms too. So these guys are starting to make mushrooms. From the insert, it sounds like they'll be harvestable within a couple of days. So let's get this one soaking and started. If it's the same rate, this one will be ready to go in a few days also. That's awesome. Pink oyster mushrooms is what we're doing here. Haven't grown these in a long time. So let's go ahead and put our X in. Not going to worry about being delicate because we want to disturb the mycelium underneath, as well as cut the plastic to stimulate growth. I always like growing oyster mushrooms. They grow so fast and they're so super easy. They're not really sensitive about temperature like a lot of other mushrooms I've grown before in the past. So these really are perfect for home kits. Or if you have limited space and not time for like humidity domes and all that stuff. All right, let's get some water. Oh, actually we're gonna go ahead and soak this first. All right, so we have a container for our water and I believe we're putting it in half cut plastic side down. What do you do? This one came with a plastic little spray bottle boards. Alright. See, well, there's a little fuzz there on the top. I don't know if you can see it there. Right there. Right there. We'll see. That looks like it might be is it colorful? No. Hopefully it's the mushroom itself, but it could be Aspergillus or penicillium. But we'll go ahead and get it soaked anyway, and hopefully our oyster mushroom can outgrow any contaminating mold. All right, and I have filtered water for these babies. Alright, so it floats. It'll slowly fill with water, and I'm just going to weigh it down like our other sack, our other box. And we leave these for 24 hours. Alright, 7 days into our white mushroom growing kit, and it looks like we have a decent flush. They look like they're already starting to dry out a bit. It's pretty dry here. I missed probably twice a day, but they could probably benefit from a humidity tent. All right, 9 days into our experiment, and 4 days for this pink mushroom grow kit. I was starting to worry, but it looks like we have a lot of pinning going on. These little tiny mushrooms starting to pop up all over the culture block. Since the white mushroom kit dried out a little early, I decided to treat this one a little different. Instead of standing it up straight away, I went ahead and let it stay flat so that the water, when I sprayed and poured over it, would actually have a chance to sit on top of the block and soak in. Seems to be working. All right, 2 days later, and yes, if you're in a dry area, it looks like the best strategy is to keep your kit flat on your plate to hold moisture. So this is the oyster mushrooms from one flush, and then I will think debating about sawing this off and then re-soaking it for another flush. And let's have a look at our pink oyster mushrooms. So here's the pink oyster mushrooms. Pretty neat. This is from the first flush, which wasn't very much, and it started a lot later, but then all of a sudden I guess we found a happy pace here, and we had a second flush, which is this. And I was letting it dry out so it could just cycle naturally. And I went to check on it, and I have a whole nother flush. So I'm on third flush, and I haven't soaked a block again. So that's fascinating. So I'll let these dry. Probably harvest these. Yeah, let's go ahead and pull these off. Maybe this will help. Cool. Look at that. Looks like we have a little other mold underneath it, maybe. I can't tell. Another mycelium. All right, this one's pretty soft. Looks like it's still growing. Yeah, so we'll just let it keep going. Neat. All right, we'll check back. To recap, growing oyster mushrooms indoors with a kit is simple, rewarding, and doesn't take up much space. While I really enjoyed growing the big complex kits in the past, mycology was one of my favorite subjects in a university. But now I'm back in Arizona and semi-retired. And easy and fast is what I'm looking for, and these tabletop kits are perfect for that. The main pros are they are easy to set up, the instructions are clear, and you get fresh mushrooms in just a couple of weeks. The only downside is you need to stay on top of misting and watch for mold, especially if you're in a humid area. If you live somewhere hot and dry like me, you can get more and larger mushrooms by adding a simple humidity dome made with bamboo kebab skewers and a large freezer bag. Now you can go ahead and cook your oyster mushrooms fresh. I usually do a little olive oil with garlic and parsley. However, I tend to like to dry them so that way I get multiple flushes and then I'll have them all together. And I can use them in soups and as seasoning. Look how beautiful those are. Beautiful. And they're delicious, let me tell you. Perfect for soups. After drying them, you can even grind them up into a powder, and it adds that nice umami flavor to any of your foods, as well as all the beautiful nutrients. Awesome. All right, let's get to it. Thanks for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe. Catch you next time.